But 9.8 is on the same side as 9.7, just at the bottom. I want to just look at this one first. With this one, we had an old accountant and then a new accountant coming in. And he's kind of having to clean up the books a little bit and redo some stuff. And we talked about this last time, to where if you decide that the equipment did have a life of 40 years, but now you think 40 wasn't quite long enough, I'm probably going to have it a little bit more. Is it okay to change your estimated useful life? And the answer to it is, you can. And you don't even have to go back and change your prior years, because it's simply a change in estimate. Okay, it's just kind of your best guess, and you want to have your best guess out there for as long as you can. Same with salvage value. This is a guess too. You don't really know what you're going to sell it for. This is just a good guess. And the new accountant kind of thinks that he has a better idea of how these two things should be depreciated. Now, the key things on this one is to remember that the year is 2006. That's when these numbers are determined from. So when it's 50 years, it's 50 years from this date, not from 2014 when the new guy comes in. So when the new guy comes in, he says, you've been using 40, but you should have been using 50 from back in 2006. Now, we're not going to go back in 2006 and change those numbers, but we're going to have to use our estimated useful life based on 50. But let's remember how we do straight line. Remember, it's the cost or book value, which is going to have to be the case here. Even though we don't have a new item or new addition like a new engine, we do have updated information. And if you do have updated information like your years, you have to redo the formula and start with your book value instead of just the cost. So book value minus your salvage value over your useful life, or remaining useful life, maybe even more accurate. So how are we going to do? Let's do the building, and I'll bring up the calculator here to do this as well. How are we going to determine what this building depreciation should be? That's what it asks for down here. In 2014, the first year that the new guy came, our depreciation should now be what? We used to have equipment or building of $825,700 on our books. And we had an updated accumulated depreciation of $157,240. I want to know now what is the 2014 total. Well, what would we take? We would have to first find the book value. So that's $825,700. The cost minus your accumulated depreciation. $825,700 minus the $157,240. And then the hard part on this one is knowing what is the useful life. That's the book value, and now how many years left do I need to figure out what the depreciation is each year? 42? 42 years, yeah. I've used 8 years. You count them up, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've done everything up through 13. So I need to take 8 years off of the 50. So my remaining useful life is 42 years. Oh, I forgot to do the salvage value. $825,700 minus $157,240. That's my book value again. Minus the salvage value, 64,920. Now divide that by the remaining useful life.
Why did you take the cost minus the depreciation? So that's 2014.
Yeah, this is the accumulated depreciation. Because I need to know what the book value is. Since I have new numbers I'm working with, this one's new and this one's new. If any one of those, especially both, if any one of them is new and updated, I have to redo everything, redo my formula.
Okay.
So before this, what was the guy's depreciation expense every year before the new guy came in? What was the old guy's depreciation expense?
19 something.
Well, yeah, let's figure it out. 825,700, because that was just his cost. He didn't have anything else. Minus his old salvage value. And he would have divided everything by 40 years.
19,655.
Yeah, the old guys, he was using 19,655 every year. And if you take 19,655 and multiply that by the 8 years that the old guy had it, they get the same number, 157,240. That's where that 157,240 came from. The old guy doing it this way for 8 years. We come in, the new guy, and says, nah, it's not really that. It's really 14,370 because of some of the changes. Got to add a little bit more life. So now try the warehouse, and then I'll show you the answer here in a second. $14,200 less the accumulated depreciation. Less the salvage value. Divided by how many years?
11.
Not 11.
12.
Not 12.
15.
15. We bought the warehouse in 09. So only 5 years have transpired. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Take off 5 years from the 20 that would have been there originally. Go through it one more time. 114,200 cost minus your accumulated depreciation. There's my book value. I'm just filling in the equation. I got the book value. Less the salvage value. Divided by 15 years remaining.
What, you add or subtract salary?
Subtract.
Are we taking the 10,000 or the 30?
Yep, 10 is the old. I don't even care about that. The only reason I would...
thought in the first one we took the 39.
That was only to determine the 30... I only took the 39 to determine what this was, and that was just extra information. You don't even have to know what that is. I was just showing you how they got this number. They just didn't make it up.